I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Time travel is a reality.
You are charged with violations of TEC Code 40.8 time travel with intent to alter the future.
And a crime.
This scum is not going back to steal money.
You get it!
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Ron Silver. Time Cop. Rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is another request, this time from Eelco van Kampen. If anyone has any paid requests, could be reviews, topics, reactions, re-reviews, re-reviews, lists, anything random, feel free. You just send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. But Eelco van Kampen wanted me to list my top 10 favorite time travel movies. I had to think about this for a bit, because there's quite a few good ones there. And it's also with a list, like, what's better. And it's, for me, at times, is what I feel that day. Like, if you ask me this next month, the list may be different order. But let's get into it. Number 10, I put Frequency. Frequency, I think, is a very wonderful drama with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel. Extremely heartfelt movie. Extremely heartfelt, where Jim Caviezel, he is a cop. He finds his old radio that they had back in the day, but because of certain events, he's able to get in contact with his dad from way, way back then. His dad has since passed on, and the dad's played by Dennis Quaid. So they're able to converse with each other, and by doing that, being able to change time, change fate. But at the heart of it, it's a very sweet, like I said, very endearing father and son story. There's a song at the end by Garth Brooks. I'm not a big country music guy, but I think it's a fantastic song. And like I said, similar to films like Field of Dreams and others, it's a drama that definitely gives you a good case of the feels, if that's the way to put it. And like I said, if you like science fiction stories, you like stories about fathers and sons, and again, it's a great feel-good movie, in my opinion. And there's a little bit of action, a little bit of thriller elements in there too, which is cool to see. Because Dennis Quaid's character is a firefighter, and then Jim Caviezel's character is a cop, and a little bit of crime happening where certain things change, and they have to both work together in a way to stop certain things from happening. So you have that element as well. So yeah, Frequency, if you've never seen, is well worth a watch. Number 9, Deja Vu. I mean, I've talked about this when I reviewed Tenet but stars Denzel Washington, directed by Tony Scott, where this big fucking boat explodes. A lot of people lost their lives, and Denzel's trying to find out what happened, and one of the victims looking into her life, her livelihood, but then with the help of Val Kilmer, among others, there's this new technology where you could dealing with time travel, like at first time viewing, like there's a really interesting car chase where it's a chase, but he has his headset where he's viewing something that happened in the past and he's following it. So it's like it's a different take on a car chase, which that mixed in with Tony Scott, his handling of the visuals and bits of the action sequences. Denzel, I think he gave a top-notch performance. That I've said, like I said in my review of Tenet, that's a movie that I got a lot more out of, entertainment-wise, emotional-wise, as he grows his bond with this lady who died, but then maybe there's a chance to change. Got a lot more of an emotional and entertainment payoff out of this in comparison with Tenet. Tenet may be smarter, but this one I think is more emotionally satisfying and more exciting and better paced. So, Deja Vu, I think it's underrated too, because when it came out, it didn't really do any business box office wise. Got dumped on by critics, and I would say it's my favorite collaboration between Tony Scott and Denzel. Like, I really love Deja Vu, and I have the DVD. Sadly, I don't have the Blu-ray. I have to pick it up sometime, but yeah, Deja Vu is a solid one. Number 8, Back to the Future Part 2. Very fun sequel. I love how creative of a sequel it is, where we could go back into the first film and see it from a different perspective, where you've seen scenes in the first film, but now there's another Marty McFly and he's viewing it over here, or they're trying to move in and around the events of the first film, so not to disrupt that, but then they have their own story to tell. Again, that was very creative to do. And then I love the future with the hoverboards. I love the look of the future. Like, they decided to go, because they even said there's no way we're going to get it right, so why try? So just go for it. So the over-the-top clothes and the environments and the hoverboards, it's a fun future to look at. It's visually interesting and pleasing and fun future. The 80s cafe, where you have like an old Ronald Reagan and an old someone else like battling each other, arguing while on these TVs as if they're wannabe Max Headrooms. It's like if Max Headroom mixed in with Ronald Reagan and other. You want the special? Just give me a Pepsi. Like stuff that is fun, or the arcade machine shooting. You mean you use your hands? That's a baby's toy. And I think one of them, I don't know if there was that or another movie. I think one of them is Elijah Wood. But that might have been another. Yeah, it's been forever. Been forever. And then like one of Biff's guys in the Griff, I should say, Griff's guys in the future is Jason Scott Lee. Those boys don't work on water unless you have power. I always remember that. I think it was Jason Scott Lee who said, unless you have power. I don't know, just moments like that. Growing up, I'll be honest, growing up, I always liked the second film more. Nowadays, I would say I like the first film more, because I still love the second film. I think the first film does work the best emotionally with the story, and I think is works. I would say of the three, the first film is the funniest of the three, and like I said, works best emotionally, but part 2 is definitely the most interesting in terms of how the story, like to me, you get your bang for your buck because you're going to the future, and then you got the Ultra 1985, and just how things have changed, like his home is different, different people living there. The principal we saw in the first film, very different. Now he's going on with a shotgun looking for slackers. Thomas F. Wilson having a ball playing these different characters. You got the young Biff from the 50s that we saw in the first film. You got the 1985 Biff who's nice, clean up, washing cars. You have the alternate 1985 Biff where he owns his big casino. Then you got him playing Griff. And then all the people Michael J. Fox plays. It's a very complicated sequel when you think about it. It's a very complicated, but I think a very ambitious sequel. And I like how ambitious it is. And come on, the hoverboard is cool. Hoverboard is fucking cool. So, Back to the Future Part 2, I love. Number 7, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, they had fantastic chemistry with each other. And it's an idea that should not work. I mean, think about it. If you go in and you pitch, think of what the pitch of the story was. Okay, here's the story. Bear with me. It's about these two guys in high school. Okay. It's like John Hughes? No. It's two kids at high school. And they need to pass this history test. The reason they need to pass it, you see, because in the future they are going to be the saviors of the universe because of their music. And so if they're not successful here, then they can't have a successful band. They don't have a successful band, then the future is not around anymore, and humanity's not found peace. So they send a time machine and a phone booth to go back in time and collect historical figures to bring them back to do a history report using these historical figures so they could pass their test. And it's like this oral presentation. Imagine pitching that. And when you hear it, it sounds awful. Like if today something similar, oh, this movie's coming out, you go, what? That sounds stupid. But it works. It works because of the chemistry of the two leads. It works because of the direction from the guy who did Critters. So there's a fun tone to it where it's not super serious, but at the same time it's not winking every 5 minutes to the camera. And the cast, not only of the two leads, but of the supporting cast, like of the historical figures, like the guy who plays Abe Lincoln. Party on, dudes. Genghis Khan, of course. I know is Al Leon. Al Leon is Genghis Khan, and the guy who plays Napoleon. And the writing, I think the writers at this point knew what the fuck they were doing. They wrote a very eccentric script. Okay, they have Napoleon eating a bunch of ice cream, people going, piddy widdy, or 11 water slides. And even then you hear it, or you say it, and it sounds stupid, but it's almost like it embraced this concept so much that it became endearing. I don't know if that makes sense. It embraced this concept of, we know how crazy this is, but you got these guys and George Carlin. You did a great soundtrack. Not just the score, but I need a breakaway, do-do-do-do, or the boys and the girls are loving it. Or, in time, everything will be alright. You know, one of the things, the many things that fucking Bill and Ted Face the Music didn't fucking have, which was creativity, or good music, or laughs. Bill and Ted Face the Music, fuck that movie. Piece of shit. I still gonna say it's a piece of shit. I think in time, people know that movie was shit. Like, go back and rewatch the movies, and then you get the Bill and Ted Face the Music, you go, oh, that's what it is? That's just my opinion. But Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is an excellent, what's the word I'm looking for? it's an excellent venture into escapism. And clever. I mean, there are other selves. What number are we thinking of? 69, dudes! Whoa. And these two being committed to those kind of performances, relishing in that, not just the dialogue, but the way of saying the dialogue. And Keanu Reeves was that type back in the day, which made it fitting. I don't think Keanu is that type nowadays. That's why it seemed awkward him trying to go back to Ted and Face the Music, because he's been so far removed from that, doing the Matrix films, doing the John Wick films, all the films in between. It's him. It felt like more pretending to be the old Keanu of this than it being natural. But people change. Alex Winter, he did a better job, to be fair. But you know what? The script. I don't. Enough about Face the Music. This one, though, like I said, an embracing of its ridiculous concept and it being a fun, well-written, clever, creative flick, a creative endeavor. Really helps signify that film as an 80s classic. Number 6, The Terminator. I mean, come on, it's The Terminator. A great horror film. Horror action. Because it is kind of a horror film. I know there's rumors, well, the next Terminator, they're going to do it a horror film. Bullshit. I've also heard there's going to be PG-13. Whatever. No more Terminator films of any venture. How about that? How about no more Terminator films? But the first Terminator, to me, in my opinion, is the best one. Because the look and the gloom and doom atmosphere of the music by Brad Fiedel. Even the music is a very solid, gloomy, just horror-like soundtrack. And Arnold being the ruthless cyborg, just, you felt like he was the Terminator that will not stop ever until you are dead. And you never really felt that again. Because Arnold didn't want to be a bad guy and all this. But you never felt the Terminator as much as you did in the first movie. And he was a scary motherfucker. And Linda Hamilton, Michael Biehn, young Lance Henriksen, James Cameron, I think he did well in the fact that he had a limited budget and he had to use what he could. So you can't gloss it over with CGI. See, I think that's something that people need to do in Hollywood. Limit yourselves on purpose. Because when you have everything, then you try to use everything, and it gets over complicated. It gets a bombardment of over-the-top CGI, cartoon, video game quality effects, and you lose any sense of not only physicality, but of just, when I say physicality, as in, I don't even feel like these people are even on the same set or in the same scene. Like, this is all, it's like a video game cutscene. And also, the story. Yes, the story, when you think about it, it's one of those paradoxes. It is just a complete paradox. Really, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense, the story. Like if, okay, the story is Michael Biehn is sent to protect the future. God, I'm getting a headache thinking about it. In the future, John Connor becomes the leader of the resistance. They go back to kill John Connor. In the first go-around, would John Connor... I don't even know how to explain myself. I'm just confusing the fuck out of me. So it's a paradox, but you just either go with it or not. with, well, if John Connor hasn't been born yet, and the first time go around, he's the leader of resistance, but then would they know that the Terminators are after John Connor? Would he have been killed already? If he was killed already, then how would he be born? Well, wait a minute, if they went back in time. But that's the trouble when you deal with time travel, is that you always don't want to deal with complications of plot that either doesn't quite work out 100%, or iffy, or complicated, or confusing, or paradoxes. And that's the risk, because time travel is not real. I don't think time travel will ever be reality. So there's always going to be that question of, well, wait a minute, if you go back in time, you change things, will this still work out? But if things are changed and it doesn't work out the right way, then how does it get to the same point that you don't go back in time if things didn't work out the same way? Because when you went back in time, you changed it, and if it didn't go the exact way, then... Okay, let me put it this way, because that's the... Again, the trouble with dealing with time travel is it can get very confusing. Imagine I go back in time to kill you. But if you're dead now, doesn't mean during that time, a butterfly effect, things will change, including my life. So if I never got to the point that I'm supposed to go back to kill you, would you still then be alive again? Because during this life I turned left, and that led to me going back in time to kill you. But now that's changed with the butterfly effect. What if then I'm going right, and since I didn't go right, I went right instead of left? That means I didn't go back in time. So if I didn't go back in time, then I didn't kill you, but you're still dead. No, you still be alive again, or it would be a loop. See, that's what, again, you just can't think about it, because you'll never win. You'll never win with it. So the Terminator, I just looked at it as a hardcore horror type of action film with some fun lines like "fuck you, asshole." Or it knows no pity, no remorse, no fear. It will not stop ever until you are dead. Michael Biehn, underrated actor. He sold that role well. Linda Hamilton, normal person in an extraordinary situation, but she wasn't a damsel in distress either. Brad Fiedel, awesome. I don't want to say edgy, but just that horror type of score, just that feel, violent. The police massacre. You go from that to Arnold smiling while "Bad Boys, What You Gonna Do" is playing in the fucking background. That's the police station scene we get nowadays. Well, that was in Terminator Genisys. Well, back in the day, let's wipe out an entire police station. Merciless. No remorse, no pity, no fear. Unless you're Terminator Dark Fate, then you do have pity on this lady because she was getting the shit kicked out of her, and you help her and you become her husband and a window dresser, whatever the fuck it was. It's just sad what Terminator has become. It's fucking sad. It's pathetic. And they still want to do another Terminator? Get the fuck out of my face. Anyway, number 5, Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox, wonderful actor. It's so sad with the Parkinson's that his career was cut so short, because I think he had a lot more to offer. Again, just sad how short it got cut, because he's great, he's charming, he's likable, he's easy to root for, easy to relate to, and he had wonderful chemistry with Christopher Lloyd, and again, has that little magical, with the music by Al Silvestri, fantastic music. Again, of the 3, I would say that's the one that made me laugh the most. Like his dealing with his dad back in the day, played by Crispin Glover, and how he just sees how uncool his dad was, but he's still trying to help him out. And even by the finale, so exciting. Getting to the DeLorean, Dot Brown trying to get everything plugged in, in the right synced up as right as can be. I mean, what more can I say about Back to the Future that hasn't been said? It's a classic. It's an absolute classic. Good songs, Back in Time, among others, by Huey Lewis. So, I mean, Back to the Future is a classic. Number 4, Army of Darkness. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to put this as high on the list compared to the others. But I put it that high on the list because, and a silly reason, I did like a fan cut of the Evil Dead trilogy, so that way it's not as confusing continuity wise. And when I watch that, I see the ending with the S-Bart ending. I'm like, that's a pretty cool ending, culmination of this character that's been through so much hell since the Evil Dead. Because I do like Bruce Campbell's performance. It's not as good as Evil Dead 2, but I still love the one-liners. I still love the style that Sam Raimi brought to the picture. I still love, the countless one-liners of good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun, or name's Ash, housewares, or what was the one? Hey, she bitch, let's go. And it's still fun action adventure quality. The whole battle at the end, fighting all these deadites, well, the skeletons, I should say. The little take on Ray Harryhausen among others. The death coaster, fucking up all these skeletons. The music, I really like the music. It's a great score. It's a fantastic score in my opinion. And it's still Bruce Campbell giving an entertaining performance. And like I said, when you watch it in conjunction with the first two, because you watch Army of Darkness by yourself, you're like, wow, Ash is a bit of a dick. But when you watch it in conjunction with what he experienced in the first two movies, I don't blame him feeling that way. It's like, my girlfriend, my friends, my sister have been killed. I had to cut my girlfriend's head off with a shovel. My sister tried to kill me. My friends tried to kill me. Had to put one of my friends' eyes out with my fingers, poke them out. I had to deal with this fucking redneck who kicked me down the stairs when I didn't do anything wrong. Had to cut my own fucking hand off. I had to get possessed and unpossessed. All these other people dying. And then I get pulled into a fucking portal. And then I get thrown down here. And then immediately they're grabbing me and putting me in a torture rack and throw my ass down the pit to kill me and crush me or die from this deadite ghoul. I'd be pissed off too, and I would treat all these people the same fucking way Ash treats them. I mean, think about it at the beginning of Army of Darkness. They throw rocks at him, they kick him, they throw his ass down in a fucking pit to get crushed or killed by a deadite. Wouldn't you be pissed? It's like, fuck these guys. Fine, you think I'm this guy? Fine, give me... I'd be pissed at him too. Hey, I've never even seen these assholes before. You got two things going for you, Jack and shit, and Jack left town. So again, if you watch, it works a lot better here than, it makes more sense here than his character in Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm sorry, that's just how I go. Ash vs. Evil Dead, people are like, how come you don't like that, but you like Army of Darkness? Army of Darkness, it makes more sense when you know this came after Evil Dead 1 and 2. And I look at Evil Dead 1 and 2 as two different movies, not the same movie remake. If you cut and edit it, like I did, although the picture quality looks like shit, because I can't save it in good picture quality. That's the way I look at it. So, again, I wish I had more of the gore, more of the horror splatter of Evil Dead 2. I think that is missing. I do much prefer the S-Bart ending. I really do. And it's a fun ending. I don't think you needed any more. Unless you wanted him to go after Freddy and Jason. I would rather have seen that than Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm sorry. I'm a bumblefuck, and you know what? You're right. He did do it in Army of Darkness. Doesn't mean you have to do it again. And even Army of Darkness, truthfully, in retrospect, it was better that he fucked up, because then two kingdoms united. At least something came of it by him fucking up, because if he didn't fuck up, then these two kingdoms would not unite and have a stronger future for these two who would have been just fighting and killing each other. If Ash didn't fuck up, and that's how I looked at it, if Ash did not fuck up in reading the Necronomicon, then even if he did it, he left, these two warring factions would still be fighting. Henry the Red and Arthur, you know, button heads. But because Ash, he didn't do it on purpose, sort of accidentally, well, he fucked up into something, but something greater came out of it, and in which these two kingdoms combined and joined together. So at least something positive came out of it. Nothing positive came out of Ash vs. Evil Dead and him fucking up, other than a lot of people got killed because of his sorry ass. And like, okay, if that's going to happen, then have something better came out of it because he fucked up. That was the case in Army of Darkness. That was not the case here. I mean, not. I always do this. My mouth goes too fast in my brain. It works in Army of Darkness. It didn't work in Ash vs. Evil Dead. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I do enjoy Army of Darkness. Number 3, Watchword 2, Lost in Time. I love this film. This is one of those films I grew up watching multiple times, because I thought, wow, for a low budget, it is one of those films. As a kid, it was great to watch, being a fan of horror films and all the stuff that was referenced, where Zach Galligan from Gremlins and I forget the actress's name, they're going through all these time periods, and okay, here's our take on the Frankenstein monster, here's our take on Alien, here's our take on a black and white ghost story with some really creepy, like it's black and white, but then there's blood, it's in red, and yeah, Bruce Campbell, and that great scene where he's tied up, his rib cage is showing, but it's like, oh, I did fucking salt and all this stuff. Ooh, it's okay. Any minute now, I'm waiting for him to say, it's just a flesh wound. I thought it was really funny and imaginative, and there's a sword fight between Zach Galligan as Alexander Godunov, the guy from Die Hard. I'm like, this is a guy from Die Hard. And the sword fight, they're going through Jack the Ripper, and they kick Jack the Ripper into Nosferatu's world. So the Nosferatu is going to kill and bite Jack the Ripper. And into a wannabe Godzilla, into a Dawn of the Dead. And when I first saw this, I had not seen Dawn of the Dead. So I'm like, wow, that looks cool. A zombie film? Like zombies in a mall? That looks really cool. And then later, I'm like, oh, that's what this is from. Again, so imaginative what they were able to do on a low budget. I love Watchword 2, Lost in Time. I mean, the only issue is they spend a bit too much in the fantasy, the medieval world. I would have preferred a bit more in other time periods, and a little less of the medieval world. Although, yeah, I like David Carradine. He makes an appearance. Very small, short appearance, but nice to see David Carradine. I like Alexander Godunov. But I would say that's still the least interesting part of the film. But yeah, I do like the sword fight, the ending. That was really good. Like I said, very imaginative, what they were able to accomplish. And yeah, Watchword 2 I think is underrated, because you hear no one talk about the movie. No one ever talks about. I'm glad I finally got a Blu-ray from Vestron. I wish they would do Watchers too, but I don't even think Vestron's doing anything now, which is sad. So I guess Watchers 1 and 2 will never get a Blu-ray, which sucks. But I'm glad Watchers 1 and 2 got it, because they're both very solid movies. Number 2, Star Trek 4. My favorite Star Trek film. I know originally it was going to be Eddie Murphy as a guy when they go back in time, and Eddie Murphy's on Earth who meets them. I'm fine they didn't go that route, because that way I did Star Trek 4 and The Golden Child. Both films I enjoy highly. But it's definitely a film that's very charming. And the plot is weird when you think about it for 10 seconds. We're going to go back in time to get humpback whales, because this alien that threatens all life on Earth, he's wondering why he can't talk to the whales. It's pretty silly when you say it out loud, but again, it's endearing. The characters really make it work. The humor of how their culture is different from the 80s culture, and that just brings a lot of genuine laughs. You know, Spock giving the Vulcan nerve pinch to the guys, like, yeah, fuck you, you know. Spot not understanding the concept of swearing. The hell he did. Watch where you walk, you dumbass. And William Shatner's like, well, double dumbass on you. Or Chekhov, where are the nuclear vessels? And he hears a guy who is Russian in the time of the Cold War asking for where are the nuclear vessels. And whether it be DeForest Kelly shitting on how barbaric the medical practices of that day happens to be, and the fish out of water quality was a lot of fun to see. As a guy that grew up with the Star Trek movies and the Star Trek show watching on VHS tapes, the movies also on VHS tapes, and then watch Star Trek 4, just again loving the crew, loving all those actors, what they accomplished with that. Star Trek films are movies that work very well because of the characters and the cast they got for those characters. They really are a big reason why those I would say the first 6 movies, yes, even 5, they work well because of the cast. And Leonard Nimoy got to direct, and it showed, like he did with Star Trek 3, he was a very capable director. I hate to say he was a better director than William Shatner. And I don't even hate Star Trek 5, but Leonard Nimoy was a better director. And later proved it again with 3 Men and a Baby in 1987, the year after this, which became the most successful movie of the year. But yet still never got a Blu-ray. But yeah, Star Trek 4, like I said, it's funny, it's fun, it's charming, the cast work well together, the fish out of water quality made it different, so it wasn't just a repeat of the previous films, it was its own thing. As well as giving a sort of, almost like a thumbing at the nose of the culture today, and what we should aspire to with the way Star Trek is. Well, not nowadays, because Star Trek's like, we need to say fuck, and you got, what the fuck, what was that clip I saw of Picard? Fucking hubris, or what? I'm like, yo, you said fuck. Oh, how edgy, Star Trek. Picard. The lady said fuck. Said fuck more than Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, that's why I don't watch the new Star Trek shit. It's shit. And number 1, of course, Time Cop. I mean, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of my favorite action stars, one of my all-time favorites, and I love the concept, as simple as it is. Time Cop. It makes me go, why was this not done even... Why there was not a movie called Time Cop in the 80s? You think that would be perfect? You had RoboCop, Time Cop. And you had Jean-Claude Van Damme, you had Ron Silver. The budget, good production value. Ron Silver, very capable actor as your villain. Van Damme, you got some nice heartfelt moments for the character where he's lost his wife. It's like, if I can't go back to save here, this comeback's not going back to get money. And some good action shootout sequences. Yeah, the effect doesn't hold up today, but I like the concept where the guy gets half of his body frozen and Venom kicks that frozen part off. Again, the effects don't work the best, again, in today's age, but, because that was 94, but it's still, and that was the time Van Damme was rocking I forgot what the mullet. And it was a good look for Van Damme. I think he should have kept it. Hard target, Time Cop. And this is when Van Damme was really getting more and more successful, because Hard Target did well, Time Cop did even better. And I've said this before, Time Cop should have been the franchise for Van Damme. When I say the franchise, Stallone had Rocky Rambo, Arnold was having Terminator, Conan. For Van Damme, that should have been Time Cop. And I think if Van Damme was cleaned up, was not doing drugs, cocaine, and because of that, which when you have bipolar, which he does, that mixed with cocaine and then the wrong people he was with, he fucked up. He's even admitted, though, in interviews and such, he fucked up. And he was demanding $20 million because Jim Carrey got it for the Cable Guy. He's like, no. Goodbye. And they thought, he's too much to deal with. Which, it's sad because, yeah, Sudden Death didn't do well. Don't do The Quest. Be like, no, instead of The Quest, do Time Cop 2. Honestly, instead of The Quest, he should have done Time Cop 2. Because Sudden Death didn't do well. Street Fighter didn't do that well. But okay, at least Time Cop 2. Because that happens a lot with stars. Bruce Willis, he's had flops. But then he does Die Hard 2. Okay, another successful venture. But then Striking Distance, that didn't do well. I liked the movie, but it didn't do well among others. But then you had Die with a Vengeance. That could have been Van Damme's thing. Okay, he does a project. I may like it, you may like it, but it might not do well. But then he's got the temple picture. At Time Cop 2, because it deals with time, you go in various places. Maybe go to the future. Maybe it's a thing where it's a time cop, but he goes to the future somehow. And you could be very Demolition Man type of future, or it's a Blade Runner type of future, and Van Damme, he's fighting this, and then maybe it's like maybe it's this big fight scene where he's going through different time periods, and he's chasing the guy, fighting, battling, then it goes, imagine Shocker, the ending of Shocker, if you know, but done with Van Damme, another guy, like, going through the time periods, and you create some sci-fi stuff. I'm tracked on the signal to follow him. Or maybe somehow he injected something to the bad guy so we can follow him where he goes. But, it only lasts so long, so I gotta keep on his toes. Like, I mean, and have a fight battle across time. That'd be pretty cool. But no, you got Time Cop 2 with Jason Scott Lee. Nothing to Jason Scott Lee, but no. Just no. But yeah, Time Cop, it's fun. I say that word a lot because mostly that's what I want in a film. It's fun. But Peter Hyams, very capable director. Love Peter Hyams. One of my favorite directors. Did Stay Tuned, did End of Days, did The Relic, did Running Steer with Billy Crystal, did 2010, the year we made content with Roy Scheider, Narrow Margin with Gene Hackman. Again, really enjoy him as a director. And I thought he did another great job here. Of course, we worked together with Van Damme in Sudden Death, and then years later on Enemies Closer. But yeah, If I had to pick a favorite, it'd be Time Cop. You know, it's the Van Damage. I'm a big fan of the Van Damage. So, 10, Frequency, 9, Deja Vu, 8, Back to the Future Part 2, 7, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 6, The Terminator, 5, Back to the Future, 4, Army of Darkness, 3, Westworld 2, Lost in Time, 2, Star Trek 4, and 1, Time Cop. So with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.